So, good afternoon. Thank you for being here on time. As a German, I know how to appreciate that. Can we have the slides up, please? Excuse me? Slides? Thank you. All right. So, yeah, let's get it started. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I would like to give you an introduction to SciFlow. So first, I know some might be familiar with SciFlow, but for everyone, I'm going to give a small introduction to SciFlow. And then we have two actually announcements to make for today. So one is about SciFlow Publish, and one is about new research integrity features. But let's start at the very beginning. So me and my co-founder, we've been researchers ourselves. We know about how to write a thesis, how it is to write a paper. And there were some aspects that for us as students and researchers were quite frustrating. So one is formatting. Still, up until today, researchers on average spend about 2 days formatting on a paper for submission. And of course, when you submit somewhere and it's rejected and you resubmit to somewhere else, you start formatting again. Also, collaboration might be quite tricky. Of course, you have the general tools, you know, Microsoft Word or Google Docs. But these tools are not really designed for writing research. They're more general tools, right? So, but when it comes to figures, tables, equations, working with different reference managers in a distributed team, those tools, yeah, as we experienced, have some challenges. And as we all seen over the last years, especially publishers invested a lot into research integrity because there were many papers that have been retracted. So even reference management, what to cite, for example, is becoming more and more complex. And those challenges we are addressing with SciFlow. So SciFlow is an online text editor specially designed for students and researchers. It provides everything they need to write a paper or a thesis. So collaboration is one of the most important features. Usually research papers are written in a team, 2, 3, 4, 5 co-authors, and usually they are distributed all over the world. So it's very important that they always have the actual text, the same version. They can write together, comment, track changes, see what changed, make suggestions, and so on. So one important thing at SciFlow is we do not try to reinvent the wheel, right? So there are good reference managers out there, you know, EndNote, Zotero, Mendeley, you name it. There are many more. And we try to integrate with those reference managers. So SciFlow is really designed to take the tools that are out there and incorporate it to SciFlow to provide a good writing experience for researchers. So one of the new features is that you actually don't have to start writing your paper in SciFlow. You can import your document and SciFlow will recognize the metadata, for example, automatically know who are the authors, what is the title, what is the abstract, and have it tagged directly in SciFlow. But one of the still most important features is the automated formatting. So we have over 5,000 journal templates in SciFlow. As a researcher, you can start writing, and once you're ready, you can select a journal template and then just format into the desired style. For if you're not sure where to publish yet, or you're just writing a general report, you can also use one of our academic style templates, APA, IEEE. There are a few very specific guidelines for some disciplines. For students, master students, PhD students, we provide thesis templates. So in that case, we take the guidelines from the institution, incorporate it in SciFlow. So students can focus on writing their text, and SciFlow will automatically format a PDF according to the guidelines. I will tell you about this a little bit later. And more recently, SciFlow has been also used for actually the production of journals and books. Because we have this automated formatting features for typesetting, our customers, universities, institutions, libraries, started to use SciFlow for the production of their own books and journals. So no matter if it's a journal, a book, conference proceeding, SciFlow supports this as well. So a question we often get is actually, does SciFlow is a competitor to LaTeX, for example? And we would say SciFlow is actually an alternative for Microsoft Word and Google Docs, because it's a tool that is easy to use, like the interface in Word, everyone can use it without training. But SciFlow is really designed for academia. So it provides everything they need, like equation, figures, tables, but not more. So it's not possible to write a serial letter or grocery shopping list in SciFlow, but we can obviously do academic writing. In reality, we also see that the LaTeX users actually really appreciate that we have the automated formatting like they're used to in LaTeX and can deal with LaTeX equations. So one of our recent, very recent, actually last week success stories is one of our new customers in India, the VIT Vellore. They asked us to provide the template of their thesis inside SciFlow. So we took all the guidelines they had for the thesis templates and incorporated to SciFlow. Students can write their text, click on a button, and get automatically a formatted PDF that is according to the guidelines. For them, it's a huge help. In the first week, we had over 1,000 signups, and on the first day, over 350 users started writing their thesis in SciFlow. That's quite a huge number. No. All right. So let's move on. So we talked about the authoring part right now. Students, researchers, writing in SciFlow. As I mentioned, there is, our customers started to use SciFlow not just for writing, but for the actual production of their journals, books, and collections. Diamond Open Access has been, had a huge boost over the last years in Europe. And universities started their own journals or flipped journals and were in the need of actually some tools to automate production workflows. And this is where SciFlow comes in handy. So they don't write texts in SciFlow, but they convert and automatically format their texts with SciFlow. And another thing important to mention here is usually universities, they have, for example, something like an open journal system or a repository, and those tools are great tools and are widely spread, and SciFlow complements them with the actual production and creation of academic publications. So here's another example, this time a German customer. So this is a library from Julius Kühn Institute. They also host conferences. And last year they had a conference where they received over 500 submissions for articles. And what they always do is they create a collection for the conference where all those 500 articles are inside. And of course, this needs to be typesetted somehow. So they used SciFlow to convert those 500 articles directly to SciFlow and create automatically a PDF. But it didn't stop there. They also wanted to export XML to automatically integrate this to their repository. So this is what we did as well. So we took all the metadata, recognized it automatically, what is the author names, what are titles, abstract, etc., and automatically forwarded to the repository. So the last time they did this, it took about several weeks to get the conference proceeding ready. This time it was just a matter of days, and on the day of the conference, the whole conference proceeding was already there. So in this, coming to the first announcement. So over the last months, we closely worked with PKP, the provider of Open Journal System. You see the numbers below. This is the actual installations of OJS worldwide, and you can see it's a pretty large number. And actually, who of you know Open Journal System? Is that familiar? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. So this is, for us, it is a very, very interesting and very big partnership, because that allows us to integrate with OJS and bring automated typesetting to many journals, many books throughout the world. So Mark from PKP will also be here later at the conference. So if you have any questions about how SciFlow integrates with Open Journal System, very happy to talk about this, or just approach Mark. All right, second new thing I would like to talk about, what happened in SciFlow, is research integrity. So as you know, over the last years, there have been issues, especially with the retraction of books, journals. So this was a book from Springer that has been retracted because huge parts of the references were either false or fabricated. So publishers invested a lot in research integrity solutions to find out where issues are, and you see just in the amount of retractions over the year that first it has become a major point with especially the rise of AI and fabricated references and paper mills, and second that publishers have those technologies to find out about this. So, as you know, from SciFlow side, we try to support the authors in submitting quality research to publishers. That's why for us it is important to make aware what actually happens. And you know, sometimes you're doing honest mistakes, and sometimes there's fraud. And we want to help authors who are actually making honest mistakes to improve their research. So it might be that one of your co-authors generated some DOI accidentally, or you cited a paper that was retracted, or your supervisor forced you to cite himself too much, maybe. And these are all issues we can find about in SciFlow. So what we do is we integrate checks for references directly in SciFlow, so that authors can find out and about issues and submit their paper or their thesis with confidence. So let me give you a few examples. So this is just an example paper I wrote when I was really tired last night in SciFlow, and I run all the checks in SciFlow to find out about issues. So first, the first references I've used, that was actually fabricated. It does not exist. And you would think that I was too tired on working on this, and this actually doesn't happen in reality, but it actually happens a lot, that the use of AI, there are references that does not exist. For the second reference, it's a little bit more complicated even. So I cited something, but the paper itself was retracted. And if I submit this paper to a publisher, of course it's a bad impression if I cite retracted papers. So we let the authors know about this. The third example is also a bit more tricky. So sometimes, or your co-authors, better to say, they use references that actually does not match the content. So let's say you're writing about social sciences, but the reference is about economics. So it might be right, but it might be wrong. And it's important to let the authors know about this. Also more, if you cite yourself too much, we will flag this as well. So this is some new features we are working in SciFlow. For that, we integrate with an external solution, Veracity, because they're really specialized in that. All right. So with that, I would like to conclude my introduction to SciFlow. Hope you had a few ideas what we are doing, why we're doing it. And yeah, I hurried myself up a bit, so we have some time for questions. So if you have any questions, this is the perfect time now. Thank you. All right. Yes.
How is the language support other than Chinese?
So the question is if we can support multiple languages. And the answer is, so SciFlow was really built as a web-first application. So we use all the web standards. And that's the reason why different languages or different signs is absolutely fine for us. So we, for example, also support right to left. We can do that. We can support Chinese characters, obviously, because everything is web standards, and this is what SciFlow supports as well. No. Right.
Just maybe it's off the top a little bit, but I'm just curious, when you mentioned the retraction, seems like you attribute a lot to the non-proper citation format. And I'm just curious, how much is the format? How much is the citation not correct? Do you have any idea also because the retraction because of that, or what percentage of retraction because of that? Because there's seems when you retract, there's a lot of other reasons as well.
Yeah.
So how much you said it was the percentage of that?
Yeah. Yeah. So with citations, as I mentioned, you can have multiple problems. So you may use the wrong citation style. So this is one of the first features where we also automated the actual citation style in SciFlow, so that we support APA, IEEE, specific guidelines from journals in SciFlow, so over 8,000. The other problem is what you mentioned just now, that you may cite correctly, but while you were actually writing, the paper you cite is retracted. And this is hard for you to find out. So let's say your research started 1 year ago. You have built up your reference list. You maybe write your PhD thesis. You use this reference, and in the meantime, the publisher retracts the paper. How do you find out about this? Yeah, you may check the database. Of course, you can do this, but this is also, again, a very manual process. And this is why we alert the users about retractions as well, so that they don't, have more confidence, ease of mind that the references they use are proper ones. Hope this answers the question. Okay.
A lot of stress that the publisher has to monitor the trend or the update in the situation or the reference they used.
Yes. Yeah. And it became a quite a recent issue. So some years back, the question was more about plagiarism. Now, with the rise of AI tools, the question rather is, how much AI-generated content do we want? So, for example, I'm not an English native speaker. If I translate my German text to English, is it AI-generated? In a sense, yes. And in a sense, it helps me and it's good. But where it becomes a problem is if AI makes up their own references and students use that and not thinking anymore and just copy and paste the text. So what we want, so our goal is really to guide those authors and provide AI solutions that actually help to improve the quality and increase thinking.
I'm from India. VIT Vello, what's your experience when students use SciFlow? Like, are there too many mistakes which are identified by SciFlow? Will reflect when they start working on it? What's your experience?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So what we see is students, for them, it's sometimes a bit overwhelming because somehow they concentrate on the content, But also, of course, they have to make use of the proper guidelines from the universities. And in a webinar I had together with a professor, he said, either students can make good experiments but are not good in writing, and sometimes they make bad experiments and are good in writing. Of course, so it's very seldom that they can actually do both. And of course, we can't do the writing for the students. This is what we can't do at SciFlow. But what we can support is the student with some structure, with some idea, with some guidelines, with a little bit of ease of minds when it comes to guidelines and typesetting. Yeah. So definitely students, and this is why we had so many signups at VIT Velour, is that they have some confidence that what they write will be in the right format. Yeah, and this is what I appreciate. So thanks again. Yeah. 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 All right. Yeah, I think time for this session is already past. I thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate taking the time, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.